Today, what we're going to talk about really is how to attract and retain talent through analytics.
You can use technology, testing, to help you make a better prediction that person A is more likely to be fitting this job, and then job fit, motivational fit will help reach success.
So these models will be generating reports, perhaps on a quarterly basis.
Right.
Then the idea is to give you an indication of who are these high-risk individuals whom you want to engage in conversations with. They may not necessarily be accurate 100% of the time, but they give you something to fall back on.
Correct.
Yeah.
When the report comes and say this is a list of names, this is a list of jobs, you match them, logically it works. But it's the quality of the conversation the line manager has to have.
How do you define what's right for your organization, for your team? Because it gets complex, right? And there's so many variables down there. So how do you do that?
Typically when we build these kind of models, we say that, okay, this person is kind of expected to perform well in your organization, say in the short term, like 3 years. And then the model, like the variable importance, right? It tells you that, actually, marital status is an important indicator. Given this information, what would you do? Would you use that and, say, okay, if the guy is single, I'll take, otherwise, not so much. It's borderline that kind of
discrimination.
Issue. Yes, exactly. And I'm not a HR person, so I can only tell you what the model is telling you. But what would you do with that information? Yeah.
Do we actually have any use cases for integration? Because we're talking about usually the very, pardon me if I say it, is a bit more fluffy stuff. Onboarding, making sure people integrate well, making sure that they know who to talk to, but at the same time, whether they can work with other people. So this is how does data help that?
We find the number one reason people stay at an organization these days for millennials is because my friends work there and I like to work with my friends. Translation, everybody should come in jammies lah.
There's a lot of data that shows that the propensity to leave is correlated to the quality of onboarding. Yeah. So the first 2 weeks are instrumental. If on the first day the boss was on leave, didn't tell the buddy, and then you're sitting there reading instruction manuals, that's negative, right? Or worse still, we have not anymore, but we used to have cases in X company where I work. The guy shows up, he doesn't have a desk, PC is not set up. All these things are negative, right? And once you go into that dip, you take a long time to recover. So I would say invest in onboarding. Make that first 5 days fantastic. That they go back, and somebody spoke about being an ambassador for the company. They go back and say, hey, my first day at whatever company you work for was great.
That's exactly why we're using analytics, because there's a lot of criticism about if you don't use analytics, you're using subjective, right? If you don't have this, the old way is my manager nominate me, right? Or my manager give me my rating, and so you're dependent on one person. Whereas analytics will give you a more complete view. So it's a complementary thing. It's not an either or.